Okay, so the first part of our video here, we're going to be touching upon the blockout. And this is just a quick stage in the beginning where if we have concepts provided, we'll lay them out on planes and use them kind of as blueprints to quickly use them as a guide and get our overall shapes and proportions worked out. And this part's very important because we want to make sure we get our proportions right from the beginning. If you have a really large asset where you've got to really put a lot of detail in it and you're working for days on it and you don't have the proportions right, it's not going to look good in the end, and you're going to have a lot of rework to do. So you really want to focus in this stage, get everything worked out to where you really want it to be in the end, and make sure it's holding up in 3D as the concept artist originally painted it or drew it. As a lot of times, sometimes you'll look at something in 2D and it'll look pretty good, but once you get into a 3D environment, things might not look all that right, and some shapes might not flow as well as you thought they would. So you might have to change a few things or rework a few other areas. So really just try to nail this down from the very beginning and get a good workflow going. So the video sped up a little bit, and I did that because it's just a quick thing here, and I'll touch more upon my workflows in the high poly and the low poly stage. But I use a lot of hotkeys and use hotkeys because they're a lot faster than the menus. But you'll see once in a while I'll go over to the menus and click, and that's kind of just to show you what I'm doing. I use the connect tool a lot, and I usually model in edit poly, as I find the tools in edit poly are some of the best. So right there I just inserted some polygons, and that will help me create a nice little guiding edge there, and add a couple more edges here, and delete some faces. And I already got the corner bumpers going. We'll use the bridge tool here, close everything off, and connect the verts. So quickly getting the overall mesh and overall shape of everything in 3D worked out. So just spinning it around a few times, seeing if I like it, seeing how it's holding up from different angles. And chamfer tool is your friend. Use that for a variety of different things. And you can see here I'm just making a few cuts and basically just moving stuff around so it matches up, and copying things over and over again. Once you get more intuitive with it, Max or whatever modeling package you're using, you'll set your own hotkeys up. And I think I've been using my same hotkeys since Max 9 now, or even before that, and adding new tools in as they come along. And most of my hotkeys are geared towards modeling, as it's what I do the most. And you'll find that setting up your own hotkeys and using hotkeys and the quad menus, you'll get a lot faster, more efficient, and you'll be able to do things a lot quickly. So this stage, shouldn't take you too long here. The video sped up, but even being sped up, I didn't spend too much time blocking it out. Just mainly wanted to get everything worked out, get it working, looking nice, so I could bring it into Photoshop and paint over it a little bit, and get back into the detail pass with the high poly and get all the details worked out for it. So you can see it's pretty much almost done now, and I got the screen. I'm working on the screen right now, and we're going to want to separate that into its own piece, because we know later on we're going to use a separate texture on the screen instead of the hull of the data pad itself. And by doing that, it'll allow us to create animated textures for it, UI, and let the programmers trigger it in game, and it can be used for a variety of different things depending on the needs. So we'll want to separate the textures, separate the mesh from the beginning. And I'll show you how to combine those later on, and have everything with multiple UV sets and textures applied. So we're getting close. It's almost there, and this is probably actually good enough at this stage. And I'm not going to do too much else. Maybe clean up a few things and get it ready. So when I bring the mesh into the high poly stage, I'll already have a pretty good control of everything else going forward, and just clean it up a little bit here. And not going to do nothing too crazy, but I just made that cut because I'm actually going to throw the symmetry modifier on there, and that will help speed things up. And the symmetry modifier is great for symmetrical things. As you know, you only have to model one half, and you can switch back and forth. You can go to show end result, and it'll actually show you the entire mesh with the symmetry on. And it's something I use almost every model I work on, unless it's a non-symmetrical model. And definitely want to get used to all the tools in Max, get used to the modifiers, get used to what everything does, how things work. There's a bunch of different ways you can do things. There's not one right way, but get used to the tools, and you'll become more proficient. So we're done with the blockout, and now we're going to take this and see how it compares to the concept, and go into the detail pass, hopefully. So